I am now, better than before. Those open doors, where I am now, where I am now. I'm in a special place, a tender warm embrace, where I am now. It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, where I am now. And if you'd like to see us live in WGPL 1350 studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, and guess what? You can see us live right here in the studio. And if you want to hear us all over the globe, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, and guess what? You can hear us all over the globe. And now I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Missy. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful and a cold day.
It's cold. My throat had got. Oh, wow. Let's welcome our neighbors, our WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
Peace, 95.3 FM, WPCE 1400 AM, WMVA 88.9 FM.
Facebook Live is on and popping. Let's also welcome Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. We will shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, follow us. Go to Crystal Records 1, CRISTO Records 1 over there at YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and we'll shout you out. We promise.
You promise?
We promise.
That's good. That's good.
Ooh, Missy.
Yes.
What day is it today?
Today is Hump Day.
Oh my goodness. That woke me up.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's the
Everybody should
middle
be
of the
woke, yeah.
week. You all should be up and popping. I tell you, it's a cold day here in the Hampton Roads area. It's going to be about 30-something degrees today.
It's 23 degrees on the outside right now, Miss Hinton.
And I feel
so it is cold.
But it's also Wednesday, Mr. E, our segment, What's Under the Hat? Issues concerning men. And we have a very, 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 very special guest, Mr. REYNARD BOYCE. He's from Temple Mortgage, LLC. Good morning, Mr. BOYCE.
Hey, good morning to you guys, both of you. Reverend, how you doing? Mrs. Hinton, how are you?
Oh, wow. I'm doing really good. I feel a little cold, but I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cold is an understatement.
Wow. Mr. E, tell us a little bit about our guest.
I want you all to know that Mr. REYNARD BOYCE, he's the LLC, the CEO of Temple Mortgage, LLC. He was licensed in 1996 and located at the Wells Fargo Bank building on the 18th floor. He used to be at 440 Monticello Avenue in the city of Norfolk, Virginia. He's a minister of the gospel as well.
Yes.
He preaches, teaches humanity and philanthropy. He put that big word and he thought I couldn't say it though. But he specialized in all manners of home buying for residential buying, investment, and cash our properties, even low scores. So we say again, good morning, Mr. Boy. Did I leave anything out?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Are
No,
you
thank you so much.
are you originally from Norfolk, Virginia?
I am.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
wow.
I'm born and raised.
Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. Brothers, sisters, were you the favorite? Were you the middle child? Or what were you?
I'm the eldest. I have a brother,
Yeah.
about 10 years younger. He lives in Georgia. He's a
Ooh.
cybersecurity specialist for Georgia Tech
Cyber.
University.
Yeah.
Yes.
3 grandchildren, one in particular who thinks he's my child. He attends Court Street Elementary. I know it's cold because I just dropped him off at school.
Yeah, so you got a quiver full. That is marvelous. Tell us a little bit about Temple Mortgage, and we're going to talk about some of your services.
Sure. I'm sorry. Did you ask me a question?
Yes, about Temple Mortgage LLC, and then let's go through some of the services that you offer.
But it's an interesting thing. Way back in '96, just around the time I just got my license, I remember having a conversation with some persons, and they said that their grandmother had a mortgage. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
And I said, "What? Your grandmother has a mortgage?" I said, "Well, if your grandmother has a mortgage, something's wrong."
Wow.
And those persons happen to have known Reverend Rooks and of the famed WPCE, all praise be to the great founder, Bishop L.E. Willis, and at which time I began a radio show based on biblical financial principles because I saw so much wrong or so many wrongs being committed against Afro-Americans and people at large in this community. The Bible is correct. We truly do perish due to a lack of knowledge.
Yes.
So part of my goal and mantra is to liberate through education, to teach people, to help people out of difficult situations and how to avoid being placed in difficult situations. So that's always been the goal and mission. Many majority companies deny us overwhelmingly. We have closed secure finances for new home purchases for numerous people over the years that other companies told it was impossible.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us how it works biblically and, just knowledge of the business. How do you mesh those two together?
Well, being in the business 30 years certainly I've gained a lot of knowledge. I got my license in, like I said, in 1996. Prior to that, I had worked for some very large companies, one of which was the former Bank of America, was sovereign back then, Temple Mortgage, Temple Ylanda, which my company has nothing to do with. My company was founded upon the biblical principle, following his temple that he built for God. And then I think it's just about passion.
Mm-hmm.
Being a broker, I have access to numerous lenders all across the country. So oftentimes what persons don't understand, let's say they're trying to purchase, and they may have a decent score, 600, 620, 630. But because many of these banks want much higher scores, they'll tell people that, no, you can't get a home. Mm-hmm. So we have so many persons walking around here paying rent, yes, or persons who have tons of equity locked up in their property. They need that money to fix the property, to even buy other properties, to start family legacy, all kinds of things. And their money is locked up because, once again, they go to majority lenders who have very rigid scores, yes, and they tell them no. So part of the biblical principle is to seek. Part of the principle is to be in position to be found. So I'm very thankful to you and Mr. Everette because I'm in a position to be found. Yes. I'm also on television. I have television commercials. And we're also local. We're still in the Wells Fargo and Bank building on the 18th floor where we've been for over 10 years. So we couple passion. You have to have passion for people. It can't just be a job. It's never been a job for me. It's always been about helping and liberating folks.
Yes.
Absolutely. Our people do perish. This place is full of veterans, tons of veterans. Mm-hmm. So many deacons and persons right in our church sitting on the front rows paying rent, and we think they're homeowners.
Wow.
But the issue is that many of these agents, I got to say the truth. A lot of these agents, and here's the new paradigm. Here's the new trick of the enemy. A lot of the now real estate companies are in the bed with major mortgage companies. They're giving each other what I would consider kickback. They say it's not, but they'll come in and pay their rent or supply leads. And those agents are overwhelmingly admonished to utilize the services of those companies.
Yes.
And so if the buyer, let's say you, for example, want to buy a house, and the agent, let's say it's Mr. Reverend Everette, and he sends you to one of those in-house companies and they tell you no, typically 9 out of 10 times persons don't know to go elsewhere or to find someone like me, which is why I try to advertise in various places. So here we have homeowners perishing due to a lack of knowledge. And also Paul talked about if the knowledge be hid.
Yeah.
So here we have persons in the community such as myself who can help people, but because of some financial relationship between the two entities, being the broker of the real estate company and the owner of the mortgage company, they are just withholding information. And we know that omission of the truth is still a lie.
Yes.
You said something that was so key, because this is a Navy town. This is military town. You know, there's a lot of people that has been a part of military town that, you know, spent 2 or 3 years in the military, and they do not think that they qualify to purchase their first home, and because they, you know, because they said their benefit has run out. How do you draw them in? How do you what can we do in order to get some of those off the streets, the folks who are off the streets paying that rent, and to start being homeowners?
A grassroots campaign such as this right here, the power, the mighty power and the blessing of these airways. Once again, they're persons who you said have been still there.
Yes.
Okay. Persons who served in the military. They're at these post offices. They're at the shipyard. It's full of them. This whole community, as you said eloquently, we are laden with that.
That's right.
But it gets down to score. And like in my previous example, if the agent sends you to the person she's forced to be in the bed with financially, and they tell you no, unless we have forums such as this, and thank God for you and this forum and this great woman of God co-hosting, if we don't get the information out, people don't know. They keep paying rent. And the crazy thing is, we have persons, I have closed loans for persons, Reverend, who lived in a house for 10 plus years, 15 years, 20 years, paying rent in a house that they could have owned because somebody told them no. People don't know, I'm an old school mortgage banker, so we go by old school rules. You can buy a house if you Everette with no score.
Wow.
Really?
So you can do a VA loan if you have no score whatsoever.
Wow.
Everybody has a type of credit. It's called alternative credit. Light bill, water bill, gas bill, auto insurance, Cox cable bill. That's still a form of credit.
You know, and you're right, because people, you know, because we perish for lack of knowledge. Folks did not know. They don't know that they can purchase homes with that type of credit. You know, what can we do in order to exercise that type of credit to let our lenders, our listeners know that they can buy a home even if they paid their light bill, Cox bill, the whole 9 yards? What can we do to get them to know that? Because there are so many people that's been renting for years and years and years.
Yeah, they don't feel like they qualify.
That's right. They don't feel like they qualified, and they've been told, they've been turned down several times. What are some of the things that you can say to a man or woman, Mr. Boyce, about that they can get their scores up?
Well, first of all, they can call me.
Give them the number. Give them the number. Give them the number.
757-567-6700. 757-567-6700. And we're all over social media. Temple Mortgage LLC, REYNARD, REYNARD, BOYCE, BOYCE. But this forum, and you know, you and I are talking about me doing a broadcast coming back to the airwaves, and I'm leaning strongly in that direction because I think that's the only way people are going to know. People are really just, I hate to say, almost hypnotized with the agent. Because that's the person they come in contact with. But persons need to think like this. If you want to get a car, and if you have any kind of decent credit, you go to your bank and get the loan. Then you go see the car dealer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go see the car dealer to get the loan because he's going to ruin your credit. He's going to send it to 1,500 people. Well, the same thing with the bank. If with the agent, if the agent is
Stop
not
right there.
knowledgeable-
I'm sorry. You got to say that again. If you go to the car dealer, he's going to ruin your credit, you said, because he's going to send it to 15 other dealers. You saying to our listening audience, they need to go to the bank first.
Yes.
Go ahead.
First and get the money. You don't go to the agent, but see, we've been taught incorrectly. It's about inappropriate teaching. We go to the agent and say we got a desire to get a house. Then she sends you to her folks. Well, what if her folks, for whatever reason, do you know it's lenders out here that don't even want small loans? If you're not buying last year when the market was high, I heard of mortgage companies turning down loans, thumping their nose up. If people weren't buying at least $300,000 or better. They didn't want the little 150, 175, 200. But see, whatever my father gives me is good.
Absolutely.
So I don't care what you buy.
Mr. Boyce, let's talk about the market, the housing market now. What's going on in 2024?
I'm so glad you asked that question. And let me say this to everybody within the sound of my voice. If you can buy, you need to call me. You need to buy now. The fallacy and the mistruth that's being prompted in the community all across America. People got spoiled with those low rates. So everybody's saying, I'm going to wait till the rate drops. I'm going to wait till the rate drops. Well, let's go back. Let's turn the dial hands of time back a little bit. Let's bend it back a little.
Mm-hmm.
What was going on when the rates were 2.5%, 3%? Wow. There was a massive herd of persons trying to buy the shortage of available houses.
Yes.
And what happened? People were being forced to put down $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 more than what the house was worth. So if you couldn't buy then, and you don't have an extra $20,000 laying around now, chances are when the rates drop, you won't be buying the second time around. You're going to still be in there paying rent because it caused an unnatural type of greed. This green-eyed monster jumped out of the sellers, which is so ungodly, and they were just overpricing these homes. So if you missed it then, you're going to miss it now when it comes back. See, we always miss the boat. We always miss the boat, listening to what's so-called conventional wisdom. But we know the foolish of the things confound the wise. It may seem foolish to buy a house now if the rates are up. But guess what? Rates been 6% more in the history of mortgage banking and interest rates than they ever been 3%.
Yes.
3% was a phenomenon. It was a phenomenon. And if you think about it, if you had to put, the sellers wanted $20,000 more down, 15 people writing a contract on one house. And the sellers got so arrogant as if to say, we're not going to accept your home inspection. You can do one, but that's for informational purposes only. We don't care what's wrong with the house.
Yes.
Wow.
Now, let's take it. Wait a minute. Let's take it back. Let's take it back to that car, Reverend. You wouldn't buy a car without having it thoroughly inspected.
That's right.
You wouldn't go on the Mercedes or any other reputable lot and get an expensive car because nothing more expensive than a home, right?
That's right.
So you wouldn't drive off the lot and you thought that you smelt the smoke, you heard the car tick, 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 and you went and said, what in the world, brother? What is that? I don't know, babe. Just turn the music up. You wouldn't do that in a car.
Yeah.
So why would you let the devil trick you into doing it in a house? Because the devil created a spirit of fear and an anxiety. And there's only so many houses. And guess what? That $30,000, okay, you got the payment 3%, and let's say it was $200 less than it would have been at 6%. That's the average math. But how long is it going to take you to recoup that $20,000 and $30,000 back? You so-called got a cheaper payment, but you had to pay so much more for it. And we took fifth grade math. We learned about place value. We learned about integers. When is it ever intelligent to be on the left side of the zero?
Wow. Let's talk about rental, the cost for renting and the cost for a mortgage. Are they about the same? Are they going toe to toe?
For the first time, almost the same. But let's talk about that. Once again, why people should be buying. People should be calling me, trying to buy the house they're in if they like it. And these landlords, here's the enemy again, has got, look at the devil. Look at the devil. Look at how he's punishing people. They want 700 credit scores to rent a house now.
Wow.
They want you to make 2 to 3 times the rent in income.
Yes.
And you got the landlords that gotten so horrible that they feel like they ain't got to fix nothing. They get to it when they can, because guess what? They know it's 100 and 200 and 300 more just like you waiting in line to get that same house, to get rent that same property. So they've gotten arrogant. We have got to take the arrogance away from the enemy. And one thing we got to do, Reverend and Madam Hinton, we got to get back old school.
Yeah.
We gonna have to get families got to buy houses. See, every other person knows how to do that. My Filipino brothers and sisters, my Taiwanese, all of them come over here and figure out the game. You'll get 20 people in the house. Negroes, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing all them people. But guess what? They have a family pot. See, we used to understand the concept of family, right?
That's
when we
right.
got so independent. So in the family pot, everybody saves. And you know what those persons do? Every year they buy a new house.
Wow. Amazing.
They all save that down payment, and year 1 is your turn. Year 2, Miss Hinton, is your turn. Year 3 is your son, grandson. See, and by the time they finish, they may have purchased 5 to 10 houses out of that nucleus.
Wow.
Wow.
I was talking to a fellow the other day, and he was talking about how the finances, his mortgage has, that nobody would pick up his mortgage. Why is it so hard today now? Because it's a big bundle package price that he got at the end of his mortgage, that he got to pay a big lump sum at the end of his contract. Why is it so hard for financial companies to refinance houses on today?
Well, once again, it's not hard. It's about score. Everybody, mortgage-wise, is score-driven. We can do lower scores. And see, when I say lower scores, I ain't talking about 500, although we do those on refinances. I'm talking about today, these devils consider a 650 low. If you're not 670 or better, some of these major companies, like the ones that have these amphitheaters where you just saw the news, I'm not bearing false witness, you just saw what happened with that bank.
Yes.
You just saw that so-called Federal Credit Union, Military Credit Union. They were all over the news denying folks, and they were denying folks with 700 score. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
They keep moving the goalpost.
But why is that? I mean, is it a risk thing? Why is it that they, would turn people down that would qualify?
Banks, good question. Banks are adverse to risk. They want picture-perfect clients.
Oh, wow.
But guess what? Banks have always been adverse to risk.
Yes.
That ain't nothing new. Navy Fed, they ain't just start denying people. These big banks ain't just start denying us. But once again, we go where the agent tells us to go. We go where it's popular to go. But then we have persons like myself been in the community 30 years.
Yes.
30 years I've been at this, that have the way out, the men with the pitcher in their hands that can water their thirst. And we go another direction. And so that's why, once again, these forms are so important. Banks do not want to take risk. And I don't think it's, and I'm going to say this as an Afro-American, I've been in business 30 years, it is not as much racism as it is money politics.
Yes.
Because little bank want to sell the big bank, they want to sell the big bank, and they sell to these insurance companies, and they wrap them up in a pool. And when the biggest dog wants to buy those other loans, if they don't meet his or her criteria, they won't buy them. So if it's a 630 score in that pack, now we don't want that one. If it's a 610 in there, we don't want that one. Can a 610 buy? Sure he can.
Yes.
People don't always have low scores because they got credit problems. People have, especially veterans and 100% disabled vets, lots of people have low scores because they use cash.
Wow.
Old school folks don't use credit. They use cash and a debit card, which is cash. So guess what? How is the credit demon set up? That you got to use cards to get a high score, right?
Oh, wow.
Right.
If you don't have a bunch of credit cards, you won't have a high score. You have to use credit cards in order to create a score. But if I'm 100% disabled vet, I'm getting $5,000-$6,000 a month. I'm waiting on the mailbox. How am I gonna get a score? I don't need one. I'm getting cash.
Wow.
But then when you come to buy, then they turn around and try to punish you because you don't meet the criteria.
Yes.
You meet the criteria, but you don't meet their criteria. Once again, this show is so blessed because we're letting people know there is hope. There are alternatives. There are answers, and they're sitting right in your community.
Yes. Mr. Boyce, talk about investment properties.
Well, you know, a lot of people have moved in that direction. And you know what I found? There are tons of persons and women I've been stunned to find. I'm proud of it. Not like I wouldn't think women could. But there are lots of us that have investment property. Last year, I did about 20 loans of persons who had paid for houses or almost paid for. And why did it come to me? Once again, they had a lower score. They needed to fix the property up, and they couldn't go to the bank. And I'm talking about people with paid for $200,000 houses and couldn't get a dime. I wrote a commercial, water everywhere, not a drop to drink.
Oh, wow. But you know what? People, I talked to a lot of different people, women, a lot of women, and they said in Virginia, it's just too expensive. Mortgage is too expensive, rent. Do you think that has anything to do with our increased homelessness?
It has a lot to do with it, but it's not Virginia because there's a homeless crisis all across America. That's why we got to work together. That's why we got to stop doing all this crazy stuff and jumping up and getting divorced. That's why we got to learn how to work together as a family unit. That's why we have to make certain that our children are meeting their educational expectations. Because guess what? Like I told my son, you can't come back home with me. You're going to Hinton, you're going to the military. But here you will not be. My job is to push you further, not to let you stay. So it's a lot of things that contribute to the financial situation that we suffer. And some of it is of our own doing, being reckless with money, being malfeasant, not working together as couples, paying stuff when you get ready to, not having a spirit of stewardship. And yes, rent is high. Rent is high all across America. And that's the problem. That's why people need to buy. Your income, the median income in this area is only $40,000. That's it. So you get a flat income juxtaposed or fighting against inflation that keeps going up, and you buy less and less and less. And then when you put the mortgage interest rate being higher, then you buy less house. But two can do more than one. Three, what did it say? A 3-4 code, 5-4 code, chord code.
That's right.
5-4 chord rather. So if I have 3 knots or 4 knots or 5 knots, I'm going back to that family thing again. If we put 4 or 5 people and we got to learn to live together, then we can all live for $500 a month.
Wow. What would you say to our veterans? And also we need your contact information. Talk to our veterans and just give them a word real quick.
That he's able, and that it's beyond possible, and it's beyond probable. It is a reality because I'm a living witness. I have a file cabinet full of vets who've had lower scores. People told them no. The fact that 100% disabled vet doesn't pay taxes. There is no reason for a veteran, a person who faithfully served. And let me say this to you, veterans, while I'm speaking, you earned that certificate. It's like they didn't give it to you. It's like Reverend you and then Mrs. Hinton. When we're practitioners of the gospel and people thinking some title, no, you earn them stripes, literally.
Absolutely.
When he said buy stripes with heel, because you're gonna get some stripes of your own. You know, you're gonna, because you got to bear that cross. So what veteran has gotten that certificate without paying a dear price? Some have lost limbs, some have lost families, some have lost homes, lost loved ones. Some, are dealing with all kinds of mental issues. Our vets, and people don't talk about female vets. When they say vet, they think of a man. We have just as many homeless female vets as we do male vets.
That's right.
Yes. But look, Mr. Boyce, give us that information before you go.
My number is 757-567-6700, 757-567-6700. 567-6700. Call me. Every situation is unique, but we're going to apply a strategy individually for you. And guess what? As one of the greatest bishops in the world said, Bishop Robert M. Amos, delayed is not denied. Sometimes it's the not right now of God does not mean never of God.
Absolutely. Well, we want to thank you for being on. You
Thank you
are
for
a
having
blessing, and we will talk with you soon. You have a wonderful, wonderful day.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Ylanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. Join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10, right here on WGPL 1350, WMVA 88.9, WPCE 1400, and Peace 95.3. If you'd like to be a special guest, all you have to do is give us a call at 757-714-7861 or inbox us at FYI Radio Show live at gmail.com. Don't forget our special guest on Friday will be Coach Liz.
Yes.
Looking to hear from you. See you then. Bye now.
Wow. We want to thank our special guest, Mr. REYNARD BOYCE, Temple Mortgage, LLC. We want to shout out some of our friends that are on. Annie Solario. How are you, Annie? Sheila Robbins, Rico Jones. We have someone over here on Instagram. We have Robert Nathaniel 71 joined us. And we just want to say thank you all for supporting us. Thank you for being with us. And thank you, Mr. BOYCE, for schooling us.
That's
Woo,
right,
talk about
that's
a
right.
lesson
That's right.
in, buying mortgage. We really need to have them on our After Dark show so we can give them more time to really go through some of the things that our community really needs to know in order to get in a better place as far as rental and as far as mortgages are concerned.
And that's what is well needed. Some of us may not never understand never know how can we purchase a home and what is it all about. And he said something that was so clear, Ms. Hinton. He said, you already have credit if you pay your light bill, your water bill, your gas bill, and your Cox cable bill, so that you are paying your bills. And even if you ain't got a great credit score because you don't have a whole lot of credit cards, but you can get a home.
Wow. Our veterans, it's a sad thing to me that they have been really overlooked and lost in the sauce for a whole lot of things, for housing, for, just to give them the kudos. He had just said that, you all deserved it. This is what you've worked for.
That's right.
But they had, veterans, for a long time, Mr. E, been fighting. And I don't know if they're still getting the things that are rightly due to them. Are they able to buy homes now, Ms. D? Are they able to get what is promised to them through their contracts and things like that? What is the status of veterans now?
Ms. Hinton, that's a great question, because there are veterans now who have been out of military for more than 15, 20 years. They said that there's a time limit on your GI Bill. Your time limit on your GI Bill, and a lot of veterans thought that they can have this GI Bill for a lifetime. But if you don't use your GI Bill, you're going to lose your GI Bill.
Can you explain what a GI Bill is?
A GI Bill is a reward or a service or
a benefit
that they give you after you done served in the military.
Yes.
That will help you go to college. It's supposed to help you purchase a home and do a lot of things that after you have served in the military. It's a benefit that you have getting you back on track, to help you get on track to, because you could have lost your home while you was in the military. Now, this GI Bill helps you to get back on your feet to go further in life. But if you do not use your GI Bill, you're going to be lost in the sauce.
Well, Ms. D, what about, let's get and talk about rental versus mortgage. Some people feel like they don't want the responsibility of a mortgage. They can, pick up and move wherever they want to. If they live in apartments, it's low maintenance, and you know what we got to find out what the balance is, because some people, and we hear it on the news and stuff. Oh, rental is the thing now.
Yeah.
Like it's a fad or something. Rental is the thing now. Everybody wants to rent, but we've got to find out which one works for you. You got to find out which one are you investing in properties that that will down the line will be a great asset, or are you putting money out there and will never go to anything except for rent?
That's one of the greatest things that we need to talk about. We need to find out. When we look at a man, for example, paying rent, and it's not his, but he's paying more into somebody else's property, then he could purchase his own property, something that he can have for a lifetime. There's so many people that live their life in renting all their lives, and when they're gone, they don't have any to leave for their youngins or any to leave for anybody for their loved one. So I think that if you're gonna spend $200,000-$300,000 or $2,000-$3,000 or $1,000 a month in purchasing a rental property, you ought to be able to take that same $1,000 and add a couple of more $1,000 to it and buy you a home.
But did you hear what you said? You said that they put money into someone else's property.
That's
and
right.
Look, who's going to benefit? That landlord's children. Once you invest 10, 20 years, 30 years in his home, what is he going to turn around and do? He's going to turn around and he's going to will it to his children. You will not get the benefit of that property.
And not only that, if you pass away in that apartment, he got somebody else standing in line ready to get that apartment.
Well, Mr. Boyce made a good point, because I've seen this wherein landlords are, first of all, some of them turn their back on their properties, and the properties are, kind of like not cared for or maintained. And then, when people say, look, I'm having problems with my property, I need you to fix this, if they turn their head again, it's like they don't do it. I mean, I'm a landlord, so I know what people tell me about, living in certain properties, and landlords that don't maintain their properties, and how they have to continue to put the money into it as to rent, but yet, landlords have turned their back and said, look, hey, it is what it is. Mr. E made a point. There's so many people, look, stretched around the corner.
That's right.
But at one property, why would he have to, cater to you? If you don't like it, he can, you can leave, and he'll have 2, 3, 10, 15, 20 people that need housing. That's one thing I wish we could have talked about, is the fact that people need homes.
That's right.
They need
property.
They need properties to buy, but they also need places to rent. It's really getting hard for a lot of people in this day and time, Mr. E, to maintain a good place to live.
And then, Ms. Hinton, he said something so clear, that it takes a long time for a landlord to even repair that property. The electric could be going bad. You could have thousands and thousands of rodents running around there. And the landlord said, okay, fine. If you don't like this apartment, get up and leave.
But the thing about it, as a landlord myself, I don't understand why people are not, getting the job done for your house. That's your property. That's your investment. Even though you have somebody else renting it and paying, the rent for that property, it's still yours. It's still something in the long run that you want to pass on to your children, or you want to sell. Why wouldn't you keep it up? I had a lady looking to rent one of my properties, and she said that it was a daggone tree growing up in the daggone floor in the place that she was renting. That's why she wanted to move. And said the landlord would not he would not do, service the home and stuff like that. And that's something I don't understand, if it's supposed to be investment.
If it's an investment property, you got to take care of investment properties. you know, we so busy. Just like I'm a homeowner, I'm looking after my home. I go around and I make sure everything is done. I got this taken care of. This, that. Here's one of, and I'm watching to make sure that I keep good records of all the service that I put into my home. You know, the other day, Martin Luther King Day, I had Terminex come by my house. They did an inspection.
Yes.
They always come by, throw some seeds in the ground to keep the
Yes,
bugs and all that
absolutely.
stuff. So it so happened to be a new cat that came there. And some of the things you got to watch when these, like Mr. Boy said, these devils come to your house. I have bait boxes all around my home. And just in case, bait boxes is just in case you got any critters running around. They got bait in them and it will help get rid of your critters. So I asked the gentleman who came by to service my home, I said, hey, did you check all the bait boxes? He said, yeah. I said, how many bait boxes do you see out there? He said, I only see, it says you got 4. I said, okay, how many did you check? And do you know where they are? Now, this cat only checked one of my bait boxes.
Wow.
And I had to walk him around to show him what everything else was because he was writing down, I checked them.
Wow.
And then he was talking about he went into my crawl space underneath the house as well as in the attic. He didn't even go underneath the house. He sit there lying. I'm paying him. So you got to be on your P's and Q's when you're doing all you can do with your property to make sure your property is up and popping.
We want to say good morning to Mr. Chris Hinton. He is in real estate. We got to have him on, because we want to go a little deeper into, what time it is. Is this a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? What about renting versus a mortgage? We would love to hear his perspective. We're going to ask him to come on and share with us on one of our After Dark shows as well. So we want to thank you all for joining us. Make sure you join us on Friday. We have Coach Lizette. Coach Liz is going to be with us, and we're going to have a challenge too. So you all need to, join us. Listen to our expert, our guru, tell us about how we can do better, can maintain our health and fitness in this 2024 year. It's a new year, new beginnings, and we really want to make sure we're doing the body right. We don't have but one.
That's right.
And so she'll be on. We'll have some other shows, our sports talk shows. We're going to be doing some things on homelessness, women and homelessness, in our future show. But we want you all to make sure you all join us for What's Under the Hat, What's in Your Closet, and serving that tea, because I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of tea to serve.
That's right.
We're going to be doing that as well. Mr.
And 2024, we want to make sure that you get the best of everything.
Yes.
Because political is coming around.
Oh my goodness.
Right around
voting
the corner.
And everything.
Voting is right around the corner. Black History comes up in February along with Valentine's. And we want to make sure that you get all the information that you need to go to the next level. I want to say good morning to Mr. Joel Rome 21 on our Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning in.
I tell you what, so look, don't forget to follow us on social media. Don't forget the Royal Ladies Pie. We're still serving them pies and things. Also, go to bulwarkacademy.com. You all need to make sure your children have positive games, positive books. Ylanda Hinton's books are up there. You can find the link that will lead you to your Google Play or your Apple.com. Bullying is right underneath your nose. The Diary of a Former Bully. Bulvic is the game. BULVIC. Make sure you go check out Bulvic, the game, and share with your family, with your children, and new music. There's a new single that's coming out. Ylanda Hinton, Make It All Right. That's the name of it. It will be out soon. But Mr. E is going to tell you how you can be a special guest, intern, or sponsor with FYI Radio Show.
If you'd like to be a special guest, intern, or sponsor of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, all you have to do is give us a call at 757-714-7861, or you can inbox us at Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Ylanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, FYI Facebook page, or you can email us at FYI Radio Show live at gmail.com. Again, that's FYI Radio Show live at gmail.com.
I want to say good morning to OG underscore DADI underscore KAGE. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you all for your support. We're going to see you all on Fun Friday. Don't forget to tune in on 9:30. Be blessed. Stay warm. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
That's right. 2 up, 2 down. And we want to thank our special guest, Mr. Reynard Boyce from Temple Mortgage. Make it your business. If you need some information about your mortgage, call Mr. Reynard Boyce at 757-567-6700. That's 757-567-6700. And I got to make sure that's right because I don't want to give you the wrong number. Yeah.
Is that right, Miss D?
That's the number that you need to dial. It's Mr. Reynard Boyce, and that telephone number is 757-567-6700. That's
All
right. Go ahead on, Mr. E.
Be
Good memory.
blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. See you back here on Friday.
Deuces.